go.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, how's it going?
Fantastic. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Just trying to figure out how to handle a difficult situation.
Well, then you're in luck because that's what we're going to talk about today.
Good, good.
So
I need this.
one of the things, and it's fun. I love teaching this class. I love talking about alcohol. I find it almost endlessly fascinating. But I am the first person to tell you that sometimes it's kind of a pain. Um, because there are situations that will come up that are difficult to deal with. Periodically, it just happens because we talk about like alcohol as a drug. It alters people's behavior, and usually not in a good way. So situations arise that we have to deal with, and so we're going to talk about best ways to deal with it. And I'll say, this is not absolutely comprehensive. You can always come up with an exception. Say, well, what about this situation? Well, what would you do here? And what I'm going to tell you is I'm going to give you a set of tools that are the accepted best practices. Now, in any given situation, you also have to use judgment. So just here we go. Matt, I'm going to ask you a couple true-false questions, and I want you to tell me what you think. So when stopping alcohol service to a guest, the backup person, the person that helping me, should stand as close to the guest as possible. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. We want to stand as close to the guest as possible when they're drunk and they're about to get upset.
Yeah, so here's the situation. I'm about to cut you off, Matt. You've had too much to drink, so I'm going to call the big burly bouncer over, and I'm going to have him stand right behind you with his arms crossed.
Yep.
Do you feel threatened?
Not at all. Not at all.
Are you going to respond aggressively to this, because this is an aggressive stance?
I 9 times out of 10, somebody's going to act like some stray cat cornered and lash out. That's what's going to end up happening.
Yeah, that's one of the things is what we're talking about here is we're trying to diffuse situations.
Yeah.
We're not trying to aggravate situations. We don't want to exacerbate the problem. We want to make the problem go away. So using a statement such as, "You've had enough," when stopping service will deflect blame from me and will deflect the situation. So if I go up to you, Matt, and said, "You know what? You've had enough, buddy."
Oh.
Is that gonna deflect?
Well, what are you talking about? I've had enough. I've barely even had a drink.
Yeah, that's gonna make the situation worse.
What are you saying? I can't handle my alcohol? Right? I mean, just replaying in my head everything that I've heard is just, yeah.
So here's one for you. You should call the police if an intoxicated guest insists on driving away from your establishment. True or false?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should.
I mean, first off, we talked about in previous classes about dram shop laws.
Yeah.
And not to not joke for a minute. Yeah. I mean, if they refuse to take the taxi, even though you offer to pay for it and everything else, and they still insist on getting in their car, it's all on them.
Here's the bare minimum of what you should keep in mind.
Yeah.
Because of third-party liability laws, dram shop laws, if they've been served in your establishment, anyone they injure after they leave can sue you. So if someone is killed, their family can sue you for wrongful death. And, that's the bare minimum of what they can do to you. You can be held responsible for the death of another human being. So rather than that, call the cops on them. Offer to call them an Uber. Offer to drive. Have someone drive. There are all sorts of ways to resolve this situation that doesn't involve them driving drunk.
Yeah. Nobody who's been drinking past a certain point is going to be exactly what we call reasonable.
Yeah.
There's that whole buzz driving is drunk driving. Somebody might think that they're only buzzed, but yeah.
Well, how about this one? If I'm in a bar, I've got a designated driver, I can serve that person to the point of intoxication, they've got a designated driver. I can serve them as much as they want. True or false?
No.
No.
No, you can't. That's false.
If you serve someone to the point of intoxication, you're technically breaking the law.
Yeah.
So let's see. If we have a guest who is violent, should we restrain them so they don't cause an injury?
You know, you need to be nice until it's time to not be nice. This one's tricky. Hopefully, if you're most bar districts, there's cops usually patrolling nearby, so you're going to protect your other guests for sure.
Well, that's the thing. Is for the most part, if someone is drunk and belligerent and all that, you just get away from them. That's the policies. Now, if it gets to that point where they're physically interacting with someone else, well, that's an issue for security to deal with. You protect that person.
Yeah.
But if they're just drunk and belligerent and loud, no, you don't get physically aggressive with them.
No, if they're violent, but like Dr. Robertson said, it's a tricky point.
Yeah, it's like, so if they're wailing on someone else, yeah, you know, as a human being, you step in and stop that. But from a legal point of view, it's a different, you know, from a responsibility for service point of view, it's a different.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If you have served someone to the point of intoxication, you've broken the law. So don't do that.
No, definitely not.
Okay. So when do you have to stop alcohol service to a guest? If they show signs of intoxication. So these can be behavioral or physical. Behavioral signs, they become louder. They become their behavior changes. So if they were quiet, they become loud. If they were loud, they become quiet. If they become aggressive, if they become overtly sexual, there are lots of changes in behavior that indicate intoxication. Or physical changes. They can't focus. Their head bobs. They're slurring their speech. They're stumbling around. They're knocking their drinks over. All those are signs that they're intoxicated, and you are required to stop service. If you've been counting drinks, which you should, and they've had too many drinks, you should stop service. And it depends on your policy. So a server could be the person who stops service, or it could be a situation where it's a manager's responsibility. So if it gets to the point where someone can't be served anymore, then the manager takes over and goes, "Hi, I'm the manager. I'm sorry, sir. We're not going to be able to serve you anymore tonight because it's against our policy. Can I get you something to eat?" You know, it depends on who's going to be responsible for dealing with it. Sometimes it'll be the server, sometimes it'll be the manager. Personally, I feel that you train everyone to the best of the ability. You have a lot of communication, and the manager should be the one to do it. My personal feeling is that managers are paid to deal with these hard situations, and your server shouldn't have to.
Well, exactly. Some people don't respond well to the server who's been all nice and great, you know, whatever to them the entire night, all of a sudden being like, we got to cut you off, you know?
Yeah.
Let the manager be the bad guy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And you're absolutely right there. It's like, let the manager be the bad guy. Yeah. So when we stop service, how do we go about this? First thing you want to do is alert a backup. So you want to communicate, this person in this booth, I think they've had too much, I'm going to stop service for them. So what you want is that person is just kind of close enough to observe what's going on. They know the situation, they're prepared to help, but they're not so close that they appear threatening. So like in the example we were doing the true false earlier about having the bouncer stand over them, no, that's threatening. And so some people are oppositional. If you threaten them, they're going to become aggressive back. So what you want to do is do it in a non-threatening manner. So just have someone who's aware that this person's going to be cut off and they can observe what's going on. You want to, if you have to stop service, if you can, enlist the help of other guests. If this is possible, this is a little tricky. But it could be, if you have a guest who's intoxicated, could go to the table, the person who's still there, and say, you know what, we're going to have to cut your friend off from service, just to let them know. And it could be one of those things where you can get them to kind of help you with the situation. It's like they've had too much to serve. We're gonna get a free appetizer here to slow it down, but I'm not gonna be able to serve it. And maybe they're gonna be reasonable and help you with that and get the person to say, maybe you should slow down.
It's always good if you can have one person in the group who is on board with the plan.
Yeah. Let's see, I went the wrong way there.
Yeah, you did.
So when you stop service, the way you want to do it is you wait until the guest orders around. So what you don't do is say, this is the last one I'm going to give you. Because then what they do, they have time to sit there and stew on it. They build resentment. I think I have too much to drink. And just you don't let them, you don't say, this is the last one. You say, I'm sorry, sir, I'm not going to be able to serve you anymore. You do it when they request it, because it's likely to upset the person.
Yeah. And at that point, they should be done with all their current beverages anyways, which makes it easier to not necessarily remove them if you have to, but,
Now, it's possible someone could become intoxicated and you miss it. Like, I have had situations where people are drinking other people's drinks at the table and stuff like that. And so if someone becomes intoxicated, depending on what state you're in, you may be legally required to stop service of that guest immediately, where you actually have to go physically take the drink away from their table.
Yeah.
It's a hard situation to, again, best left to a manager. And again, the way you want to do it is non-confrontationally as possible. It's like, I'm sorry, sir, but I'm not going to be able, we're not allowed to serve you any more alcohol. I'm going to have to take the drink back. The state requires that, if someone has been overserved, we suspect that someone has been overserved, we have to do this. I'm sorry.
Well, and sometimes you don't notice somebody's intoxicated until they try to stand up too.
I actually had a situation, Matt, with the John Purdue room before you came working there.
Yeah.
One night where we had a local business owner come in, and I suspect that they were intoxicated when they came in, but they were regular patrons. They came, and so this is a restaurant on a campus in the middle of Purdue's campus. This is not a place where you go drink, but we did have wine service.
Yeah.
And so they come in and they became drunk and belligerent with the guests. And so as the instructor actually took over and stopped service to them, and they became incredibly belligerent.
Yeah.
And it's a sad situation, but they are banned from dining in the John Purdue room now. It's like, how bad do you have to be to get banned from a campus restaurant?
And not just that, but it's just all student run. People don't get, this is something that only happens during a semester that's actually happening. This place is open.
But my best guess, they were intoxicated when they came in and no one noticed.
Oh, easily. Yeah.
So when you stop service, which you don't want to be judgmental, you tell them you're stopping service, but you say these things like, company policy doesn't allow me to serve you anymore. I'm not going to be able to serve you anymore. I would be responsible if something were to happen to you, so I'm not able to serve you anymore. It's against the law for me to serve any alcohol. You're not saying, I'm cutting you off. You're saying, I'm not able to do this.
Yeah. Just, again, it's being apologetic while stating the facts, like our company policy,
It's out of my control.
Yeah.
I don't have any say so in this.
My manager said it was time to, that you've reached your limit for whatever, not reach your limit. But
yeah, you probably don't want to say it that way. It's just, I'm sorry, sir, I'm not going to be able to.
You've reached your limit. Yeah.
Let's see. You can express concern.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure you make it home okay tonight. We want you to come back again. Why don't you call it a night and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Express empathy, show that you're understanding. You want to maintain eye contact. You don't want to look away. Nod and shake your head that you're agreeing with them.
Mhm.
when because they're going to say, I'm still fine. It's like, yes, sir, I'm sure, but I'm not going to be able to serve you anymore.
Yeah, totally understand. It's company policy. I know.
It's out of my hands.
Out of my hands.
Um, let's see. So you can say things like, I'm sure this is frustrating, but we just want to make sure that you're safe.
I'm upset too. I'm
Yeah, I'd
upset
be
too.
upset too.
Yeah.
But we just want to make sure nothing happens.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not going to be able to serve you more, but I can call you a cab. Make sure you get home safely, or an Uber or a Lyft.
Yeah.
Um,
For the most part, people, even if they're unreasonable in that moment, they're gonna understand later
yeah,
why. So
yeah, later.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's that moment where, and you're gonna have people who are like a drunk whisperer.
Yeah,
You're gonna recognize it right away that they're just kind of like,
they're better at it.
it's okay, right? And all of a sudden the guest's like, yeah, it's okay, you
So the
know.
things you do have to do, and this is hard, you're going to have to be firm. Because
Oh, yeah,
like they'll say, well, just let me have one more. No,
yeah,
once someone is cut off, they're cut off.
yeah.
Yeah. Make the decision and stick to it. So that's, you observe when someone has reached that point, you make the decision, you stick to it.
And giving them just one more is not sticking to it.
Yeah. And be patient and be calm. And this is a challenge because the other person who has had the alcohol, they don't have the same requirement to be patient and be calm.
Their foot is not remotely coming near the brake. It's just going to be mashed on the gas.
Yeah.
So
So you want to be clear. You want to do it simply. You want to just,
keep the message as clear and simple as possible.
yeah, I'm
They're
sorry.
intoxicated.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not going to be able to serve you. I'm sorry, sir. I'm not going to be able to serve you.
It's not the time to
I'm
whip out
sorry,
the
sir. I'm not going to
thesaurus.
be able to serve you.
Yeah.
It's like just,
Yeah.
okay. So when you do stop service, things you can do: offer non-alcoholic alternatives. Offer them a glass of water, a soft drink, coffee. As they do this, because the thing that processes alcohol is time. So your liver breaks it down. If you can allow them time, they will become sober again. So if you can stretch the time out, offer them something, like non-alcoholic or something, that will help. If you can recruit their friends to help them, or to help you, that's possible. It's like, hey, can your friend here, we're going to have to cut them off. How about I get all of you guys apps? Would you like that? Talk to the other person and try and pull them into it if you can. So after you cut someone off, if they don't leave, you still have to observe, because maybe you'll find that someone else is sneaking drinks to them. Like you have someone that's been overserved. They're at a table with a pitcher of beer.
Come on, man. Just come on. Let me just have one of yours. Just let
And,
me have one of yours.
The friends are sliding them a beer, letting them drink out of their glass. Something like, what do? You stop service to all of them, and you remove the alcohol from the whole table. So if one person at that table has been cut off and someone else provides alcohol for them, everybody gets cut off.
Yeah.
And I know this is hard.
Yeah.
I know this is hard. And those of you who work in bars are saying, right. This is what I'm giving you is the legal requirement.
Yeah.
That if you don't do these things, you can go to jail, or you can be sued, or you can face civil penalties. So this is the legal requirement. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying this is the law. I'm going to skip through this. So some things that you can say. Which of these sound right to you, Matt? Tell me if you think this sounds good. I'm sorry, but I don't feel comfortable serving you another drink. How about a soda or a cup of coffee?
I worry about the use of I don't feel comfortable.
Okay.
I mean, just like somebody can be like, well, don't need you to be comfortable, right?
No.
I would probably go with, I'm sorry,
I can't serve you.
I can't serve you, But yeah, I mean, offering an alternative drink,
What about this one? This is the last drink I can serve you tonight.
My memory may be short, but it's not that short. I'm going to go with no.
Yeah. We feel you've had enough, and it's against our policy to serve you any more alcohol.
The had enough, right?
That's a little judgmental.
Yeah, it is. It's a little judgy. A little judgy.
How about this one? I'm sorry, but I could get fired if I serve you another drink.
It's not exactly wrong. It's kind of like legally, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think you've had enough, sir.
I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna enjoy my coffee.
Yeah.
Enjoy my cup. No, it's judgy.
Yeah. I'm not sure you can make it home, so I really can't serve you another drink.
It shows concern at least. I mean,
but it also feels a little judgmental to me.
It does. It does. You know,
a better way to do it, like not saying I'm not sure you can make it, is like, I just want to make sure you're safe.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah, we just want to make sure that you're safe and that you come back tomorrow.
You're not getting another drink because I think you're intoxicated.
Yeah, that's gonna work like a, no.
Let's see. I guess I can serve you another beer, but this is gonna be the last one.
You're supposed to cut them off when they order their next round. You cut them off. You don't give them one and be like, because again, it gives them that chance to stew in it, and become loud and belligerent while having another beer.
How about this one? Sir, I'm going to have to stop serving your friend. Can you make that your last drink and see that he gets home safely?
That's actually not horrible.
That's a good one. That's a tough situation.
Yeah. And you're kind of towing the line a little bit where, you're trying to recruit them and not judge the friend, and more than likely the person knows that their friend is drunk.
Yeah. We always know.
Yeah.
There's always that one.
But are you sure you want to give them another drink and then send them all driving?
Well, no, I think
I get what he's saying.
That's going to be your last drink. You see, I'm not going to bring you another one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's against the law for me to serve you more alcohol.
Hey, look at that. Just stating the facts.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So, now, an intoxicated guest. They're trying to leave the premises. So, first thing, always follow company policy, whatever that is going to be.
Yeah.
It's going to suck. I'm going to tell you, this is going to be challenging, especially when they've driven to your establishment, by themselves. Now they want to leave in their car and they're drunk. What do you do? So first thing, you never use force. Like, you're never going to put someone in a headlock and say, nope, you're not driving home. It's like, drag them back in the restaurant. You're not going to do that.
Let us get you a cab. Let it, taxi.
Let me get you a cab.
Yeah.
And so here's what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You want to try and convince the guest not to drive. It's like, hey, it'll probably be safe. Let's be safe tonight. Let me call you a cab.
Yeah.
Express concern. I just want to make sure that you get home okay.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and this is usually pretty genuine too. You want the guest to be safe and you want them to get home safe so they can come back and enjoy your establishment some more.
Yeah. Repeat customers are the core of your business. You want them to come back, so they need to be safe.
Yeah.
Ask a guest if they're intoxicated, ask for their keys. Now, and here's one of those things when they refuse, you say, if they're not giving you the keys, it's like, then sir, I'm going to be required to call the police.
Yeah. Yeah. I hate to do it, but it's policy that if, I suspect somebody of being intoxicated and they're going to drive, that I have to call the police legally. I have to call them.
Yeah. And it's the law. If I suspect someone of drunk driving, I am legally required to report it.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. Let me have your keys and I'll call you a lift. But if you insist on driving, I'm going to be forced to call the police and report it. And if they do drive, because you can't physically stop them, note the make and model of the car. They were driving a Lincoln Continental, the license plate number if you can get it, and what direction they left.
Well, and it used to be where you had to sit there and memorize this stuff, but we got these cameras in our pockets. Take a picture of the plates, right? Yeah. It's not that hard.
And if you can, arrange for alternate transportation.
Yeah.
So if they have a sober friend, companion, ask them to drive, offer to call a friend or relative for them, call a cab or a Lyft or an Uber for them.
It's 2020. There's really no excuses on getting a DUI.
Yeah.
To be honest, but
Yeah.
people will overestimate their ability to handle what they drank and to be fine driving home. I've done it 100 times. I'll be fine. Yeah.
So, yeah, you should never physically throw a guest out. You can ask
Dang
them
it.
to leave.
The movies are all wrong.
Yeah. You ask them to leave, you arrange I'm not saying it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
I'm saying from a legal point of view, this is best practice.
yeah.
You ask them to leave. You can offer to arrange transportation for them. You say something like, I'm sorry, but I'm not able to serve you more this evening. I'd like to call someone to come pick you up. If you decide to drive, I'll have no choice but call the police. What would you like me to do?
Yeah, put the onus on them. Like, no. It's your choice.
You can leave in a cab, or we can call the police. Tell me what you would like.
Yeah, I mean, either way, you're getting a ride somewhere, you know?
Now, here's the thing. You have the right to refuse service, but you do have the responsibility to make sure they get home safely.
Yeah, this is for when people show up drunk to your place.
Yeah, so what if they show up? So you refuse service to them, like, I'm not going to be able to serve you because you're drunk. But on the other hand, once they're there, you do have a responsibility to make sure that they're safe.
Yeah.
So if they're intoxicated when they come in, don't serve them any more alcohol.
Hey, let us get you a ride home. Okay.
Yeah. So this is where communication is important. Like the valet who sees the person come in, it's like, hey, this guy was drunk when he came in. He ran over to the planner. That should be communicated to the manager, to the server, to the bartender, to everyone. This person isn't to be served.
Well, not just that, but the valet shouldn't give back his car. You know, if they have the keys for it right then and there, just be like, sir, you know, we're going to get you a ride home. We'll get you back.
So you get their keys or ask for the keys. You tell them if they insist on driving, you'll have to call the police. And if they do insist on if they do drive, call the police.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. And that's the thing. If you say, if you drive, sir, I'm going to be forced to call the police, then call the police.
Here's a good point. If the guests have agreed not to drive, find them alternative transportation, but also make sure that they actually go through with it.
Yeah.
Nothing worse than sitting there and be like, all right, well, you know, they said they're going to take an Uber. They stepped outside. Well,
and they pulled out their hide key, got in their car, and drove away.
Exactly. Right. So
designated drivers. You ever been a DD, Matt?
I've been a DD for like 10 years now. It's horrible. No, it's one of those things that, every big holiday or drinking occasion, bars will do something to help promote people being a DD, whether it's a free app for them or free soft drinks for the night, that type of stuff. You
know, even if they have a designated driver in their party, you can't serve the rest of the party to the point of intoxication. Just because they have a designated driver doesn't mean they get loaded.
Yeah.
You're still liable, even if they have a designated driver.
Yeah, because it's not just them driving home that can be the cause of any kind of damage of them being intoxicated.
So things you want to do, encourage the designated driver not to drink alcohol. So you offer them free drinks.
Shocking.
I don't mean free alcohol drinks. Offer them free soft drinks. Offer them free coffee. Offer them free.
No, but I mean, who knew that you wouldn't want the DD to drink alcohol? Because who's ever said this? I'll just have one.
Yeah.
You know what? Just one more. Just one more. You know,
if they do have a drink, count.
Yeah. No, that one you count hard.
Yeah.
You know, it's like.
And follow whatever your company policy is. You know, smart companies will have policies in place to prevent these situations and to deal with them, and follow your company policy. So violence. Some people just shouldn't drink. You ever had a friend or known anyone like that, Matt, who they have a few drinks and just look and you know where the night's going?
Well, you always had that one friend that you like the person, but you hate drinking with them because you know they're going to try to start something.
Or they're
And
going to punch a mirror in the bathroom, or they're going to do one of those.
yeah, all of a sudden they come out with a bloody hand. And you're like, what the hell, man? You went to go pee.
Yeah.
Like, how could that upset you?
Or,
Right?
they're, you see that guy's looking at me, and like,
No, he's not looking at you. He's watching the band that's right behind you.
he's got a
You
glass
moron.
eye. He's not looking at anybody,
you know? Yeah. No, I was usually pretty careful after I dealt with one person. If they showed any kind of things like that, I just didn't hang out with them at the bar. But yeah, there's those people who they're just angry at the world, and it doesn't matter. Give them a little bit of liquid courage, and next thing you know, they're 6'10" and made of steel.
Yeah. So they think they're Jack Reacher.
Yeah, yeah. But they are, more built like maybe the size of Tom Cruise. He's like 5'4".
So, let's see. So what you're required to do if you're serving alcohol, you have to make a reasonable effort to anticipate problems. So this is one of those things that shows up in the law a lot. It's like doing what's reasonable. Now, you're not required to handcuff people and serve them their drinks with straws so that no one can get hurt. That's not reasonable. But you are required to anticipate these things happen, and you're supposed to try and prevent injuries where you can.
Yeah.
So with a violent situation, notify your manager. If you have a guest, that is becoming agitated or angry, if you're the server, or if and this is one where like a busboys are useful, because busboys go by and they're checking the tables. They're seeing how the guests are behaving, and if you see someone is getting worked up, pay attention. Involve your manager early. It's like, I think we're gonna have a problem. This guy, he bumped into this guy earlier and there were words, and now he's sitting over there and he's looking angry.
Yeah. And we've all seen that guy.
That guy.
Yeah. If the manager knows right away, it's easier for them to keep an eye on it. Also, right. To call the police if anything's coming up, Yeah.
If there's anything, call the police. That's what they're there to deal with.
Yeah. Typically a lot of bouncers are off-duty cops too. Which helps.
Like two people get in a fight, don't just let them fight it out. Don't assume that, or if people are, don't assume the situation is going to resolve itself. If there is a violent situation going on, get the rest of the guests out of the way as best you can. Like if two guys are rolling around on the dance floor fighting, get everyone else away. You don't want anyone else jumping in, hitting somebody with a bottle, trying to separate their boyfriends, getting pulled into the fight, someone else having nothing like that.
Nothing good happens in a bar fight.
What?
Nothing good happens in a bar fight.
You want to separate the rest of the guests as much as possible. And if you have a violent guest, you don't want to try and restrain them.
No.
Because you don't, their judgment's impaired. You don't know if they have a weapon. You don't, and also you're a server. You're not paid to deal with violent guests.
No. It's just going to end up getting your employees hurt if they are not trained on how to properly handle this situation.
And also, having a liquor license is a privilege. It's not a right. And as such, you can have your liquor license taken away. And the fastest way it gets taken away is for illegal activities, things like allowing drug dealing on premises or things like that. So if you see illegal activities, things you want to do is first think about the safety of your guests. That's your first responsibility. If you see someone dealing drugs in the bathroom, confronting them, if there's potential for violence, not smart, call a cop. Call the police, let them get the guests out of the way, let the professionals deal with it. Notify your manager and call the police.
Yeah, this is just, I've seen too many places get busted because they just let somebody, it's all right. It's just Jimmy. He's going to be fine. It's just a little weed he's dealing, and your liquor license is gone. There goes all your revenue. You're not going to make any money.
You should, your manager should always back you up in these situations. I know the reality of it. I know what bars are like. I've been in them. I've worked in them. And so your manager should back you up when you cut someone off. If there's a disagreement with your manager, there's some things you should do. One, express concern. It's like, you're saying, I'm going to cut this person off because I feel they're intoxicated, and your manager overrules you. It's like, oh, that's my friend, give him another drink. It's like, express, I'm not comfortable doing this.
Yeah.
Ask the manager to do it instead.
Yeah. If you're so confident,
yeah,
you take the onus and you take the responsibility, because I'm getting myself out of this legal situation.
Yeah, I'm not going to serve someone who's intoxicated, because if your manager will say, this person is a regular, this person is is a VIP or whatever, you need to serve them. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm not comfortable doing it. And the thing is, talk to HR if it becomes a problem. One of the things I always, if your manager is telling you to do something that is illegal, and that's the thing, serving someone who's intoxicated is illegal. Say, it's would you put that in writing? Because only an incredible moron is going to write down to tell you to do something illegal. That they're forcing you to do something illegal.
Now, I've been around quite a few incredible morons. So,
believe it or not, Matt, I ran into this situation when at the JPR once.
Okay.
So the Court of Master Sommeliers, these are people who are experts in wine service, were dining in the restaurant that night. And the department head, who was my boss, Ray Kavanaugh, was dining with them. And our policy was we served 2 glasses of wine. And then that was, because this is all student run and students doing it and everything.
Best practices, yep.
Yeah, we would serve 2 glasses, no more. It was, everybody knew it, those were the rules. Well, these guys live, breathe, and are experts on wine. So they're in there having dinner, a nice long evening with the department head, and they've had 1 drink, they've had 2 drinks, they order another glass of wine because that's what they do. And the student comes to me and says, they've asked for a 3rd glass of wine.
Yep.
And it's like, what do I do? And it's like, well, you can't serve them. And so as the manager, I go up there and I pull my boss aside and say, okay, Ray, Dr. Kavanaugh, you wrote the policy and you make me enforce it. And the policy is no one gets more than 2 drinks. Now,
yeah, no one.
And he instantly recognized the conflict that he had put the students in and said, don't worry about it. And so he handled it, personally. But it was like one of those situations I am not comfortable, because it was, I am supposed to be teaching these students how to serve responsibly, and you're asking me to violate the rule.
Yeah. Well, and that's where having things clearly written down, the policies of your institution and everything, it's a safety blanket of sorts.
Yeah, it's good.
Right? Like, well, sorry, according to the manual right here, you can see this. Like,
So every time there's an incident, you should fill out an incident report. You should have a log in your restaurant. So every night at the end of close, you should write down, if it just says business as usual, nothing happened, that's awesome. But anytime something happens that's out of the ordinary, you should document it. And what you should provide is accurate information, name, details as much as possible. You want to fill it out as soon as possible. You don't want to wait a week and do it, because you'll forget details. And it's best, like you had just said, have company policy on what you should be included on this. When you want to write one, if I've had to stop service to someone, I should make a note of it. I should have an incident report. 8:30 p.m. had to cut off guest. If you have to arrange transportation for someone, I had to call a lift for a guest. Make a note of that. If you have taken an ID, you should make an incident report. And in the state of Georgia, you're technically required to call the state and tell them you confiscated an ID.
Well, I think the main part here is, no matter what, having all this information, having too much information is not a bad thing. Having too little will get you in trouble.
Here's what's going to happen. Someone is overserved, or someone gets in an incident at your bar and they leave. And then, let's say they get injured. They're going to come back the next day and say, well, they didn't cut me off, or they didn't arrange for transportation, or they didn't do something. And you're going to say, well, here's my log that says I did. And what, if it goes to court, what the judge is going to see is a person who admits to have been intoxicated and a person who has versus a person who has a bunch of documentation. Which one do you think they're going to believe?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just a good CYA, you
Yeah.
know?
All right. So that's what we've got on difficult situations.
Whew.
What this means is next week we will start in actually talking about wine.
What? That sounds awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.